I always used to get that dress would look great if you had a rack. Well, I'll never have that.
Well, that's I actually think that's just a dig. Like to me, the backhanded compliment would be only you could wear that. Welcome to another episode of Girls Gone Gritty. I'm so grateful that you've tuned into us again. And I'm happy to be here with Darian and Farley, sharing this precious moment of time with you. We have a great show coming to you today. But before we get to that, I want to thank you for clicking and subscribing to us. Anything you can do to help push the volume of our subscribers is going to help us continue to bring a great show to you. So thank you for doing that right now. Coming up, our top three. We have new stuff happening with Ozempic. We have our Got Grit person. So with that, what was our great win for the week?
I went to the most fantastic wedding. My friend's daughter got married, Maddie Height, and she married Captain Jack O'Brien. He flies F-35s in the military. We go to the church. Here are these beautiful young soldiers, all decked out in their outfits, standing ready to walk you down the aisle. And you realize we have to respect the military and give them more props because these young kids are sacrificing their lives on a daily basis for us. But was really special once they got married, and we're now Mr. and Mrs. Jack O'Brien, Captain Jack. All the Marines did an arch of swords. They got to the first sword. They said, you have to guess. Then they went to the next one. If you want to get through, you have to guess. Then the third one, he romantically dipped her, gave her a big kiss, and they went through. It's neat because the Archer Sword represents military, community, and pledge of loyalty, which they had.
I guess it was a very safe wedding to attend. We went to another wedding together last year, and it was Navy SEALs. I was in awe of all these specimens that were walking around. We also couldn't take photos because they could not be put out there for the public to consume because their identity needs to remain anonymous.
The honor and the respect that they have for your country. You talk to these amazing 23 to 30-year-olds, and anyone who ever doubts our flag, please research and see what these people do. They're flying F-35s, the most innovative aircraft in the world, and sacrificing their life. And at any given moment, party could be over.
So this Labor Day, think of all the protection that we have, and the heroes that live among us are real people.
And they're great dancers.
And they're very methodical and kind. And what the politics are of the world, of any particular country, have nothing to do with the people that serve. They will take one for the team, and it's Team USA all the way.
Respect the flag is what you learn. And please, anytime you see an officer, give them thanks.
Exactly. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat.
Doesn't matter.
They're serving all of us.
And the women, too. There were some women there.
Good.
Yeah.
So good. Well, what serves Girls Gone Gritty this morning is our top three. Far?
Coming in at number 3, Supersize Me. 75% of Americans are obese. You heard me right. And that's because they're consuming 55% of their caloric intake with processed foods.
When there's 7 global companies that own all the food production, and you recognize that they not only own the food production, but they also own the farms, and they're able to calculate and manipulate everything that they put into our food sources. The two are linked, people. The two are linked. The number of processed foods that went up since we were children is exponential, and the obesity rate has gone in that same upward direction. I want to be more mindful of everything my kids put in their mouth.
62% of the calories come from ultra processed food for children. Think about it. Every snack that you give them,
cereal, breakfast bars,
yes,
sweetened beverages,
sweetened beverages, chips, everything's prepackaged. And veggie straws are one of the worst things you could give. You might as well give them a potato chip because they are the same kind of food.
Actually, they're worse. They're banned in California. You're not allowed to have veggie straws for the manner in which they're produced. They are carcinogenic.
When you look at how even Cheez-Its are produced, how all the acai bowls, you go to Playa Bowl, it's the most sugary snack that you could have. The way that they process the acai, they put gallons of sugar mixed with these little berries to give it purple color. But the good thing is that RFK Jr. is coming in. He's been fighting to get food dyes out of so many foods that we eat. So fingers crossed.
Obesity is real. Number 2, from your mouth guard to God's ears and then a doctor's office.
This is amazing technology that a bunch of companies are providing. It's a mouth guard that you can wear for a multitude of sports that will record and light up. And then when the person has taken a hit that they feel requires any kind of medical attention. And my son, who plays football, they've engineered some new helmets. So the technology for concussive indications has risen, and it needs to.
It's a gyroscope and accelerometer that measures the impact, and then it lights up. Imagine you're playing and you get hit. I mean, that's one way to get lit up. Ba-bum, bum.
Well, that's what's crazy. It's starting to sound and feel like a video game. You're going to be out because your mouth guard lit up. What I wonder is there going to be a negative correlation and impact where
I was going to say, does it malfunction?
Right. Well, A, does it malfunction? Or B, are you now trying to take someone out so their mouth guard lights up because you have people that below under the belt when they're playing?
Definitely.
Well, we'll see this. It debuts at the Women's Rugby World Cup. Obviously, they've test driven it, but this is going to be the first time that it's on public display, and the refs and the medical teams are going to be standing by. So I hope it works. Anything's better than nothing.
They picked the women's rugby team out of all the sports.
Yeah,
I mean, they're getting hit. I'm like,
I know.
It scratcher for sure.
It really, well, maybe the women are the one that said, hey, bring it on. And maybe the men, the football
they're
team
like, I got it, man.
No, the football team said, to hell no, we're not doing that because they have too
marketing, baby. And they gave them a bunch of money. Here you go.
Yeah.
What's coming in at number one?
Number one, Ozempic, the JJ, is increasing the demand for vaginal rejuvenation.
So anyone on Ozempic, I've said this, and listen, we covered this on an earlier episode. You have to do what you need to do to get healthy. I applaud the efforts and the lifestyle changes. However, these other side effects that are happening taking these drugs, you're going to have your pelvic floor and your whole go south. You need to be aware of that.
Listen, it's saying that your majora and your minora, that's your labia,
the two big and the little,
are sagging.
Rapid weight loss can reduce subcutaneous fat in outer labia, leading to saggy or deflated appearances. So imagine if you're going to get some booty and you saw some super saggy little thing, but they do have a fix for it. There's been a surge in vaginal rejuvenation, which is craze, labiaplasty, which fixes the labia.
Okay, but wait, from 3 to our top one, they'll get us heavy by feeding us crap. Then they'll fix it by giving you a pill. And then you have a surgery to fix the, hello, wake up people. We got to stop at the source and start sourcing things better as far as
well, everything has a side effect.
But
so
you can take fat from your body and stick it down in your labia to get your labia puffy. So maybe you're losing some fat from one of your areas.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Do you think would a puffy hoo be better for a little booty?
That you can
I don't know.
Let's just be real. Your muscle, if you're losing muscle tone all over your body, how are you clenching and releasing?
But the thing is that it causes dryness and irritation. The muscle mass loss contributes to reduced tone and dryness, then altered sexual anatomy. So they report changes on how it looks and how it feels. There is research that it feels different.
I keep thinking of that cat that looks like an alien. You know that cat that has no hair?
Why are we talking about a cat?
Well, because it's sitting down there and it's like a weird looking kitty cat.
If you're going to take the GLP-1s, just know the side effects. With any medicine, there's a side effect.
And there's our top three. Moving right along into our subject matter today, which is gaslighting and the below the belt compliment and how to recognize when you are being abused.
I think understanding how we handle ourselves in relationships is a really good thing to be aware of. And unlike your IQ, your emotional quotient, your EQ is something that we can affect. Your intellect quotient is a given thing that you get when you're born. And for most people, that does not change too much. The actual definition of your emotional quotient is a measure of how well a person can understand, use, and manage their own emotions, as well as recognize and influence the emotions of others. It's about being aware of your emotional state, managing your reactions, and understanding how your behavior affects others. They're always in personal relationships, whether at work, whether with your spouse, whether with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your children. Everybody has a different way of handling things. So you want to make sure that you are in tune with your EQ.
Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where someone attempts to make another person doubt their sanity, their perception of reality, and even their memories. It's a tactic used to gain power and control in a relationship, and it can be very damaging to the victim's mental health.
I went and researched where the term gaslighting came from, and it's actually a movie from the 1940s called Gaslighting, where the primary character, the husband, was making his wife very uncomfortable by changing and dimming the lights and making her feel that she was unstable and therefore had control of her. So gaslighting is really about that mental manipulation of making somebody feel diminished power. It happens in spousal relationships from a lot of the studies, but it's interesting to know where your EQ can line up with that gaslighting to give yourself back some of that power.
Well, my favorite is the backhanded compliments. The compliments are the sneaky little remarks that carry a subtle connotation. They often leave you wondering, wait, was that comment supposed to be nice? Or was that supposed to make me feel good? Or was that not supposed to make me feel good? The compliments, it appears positive on the surface, but it always contains that underlying jab or criticism. So sometimes you have to go, wait, was that a backhanded compliment? I always used to get, oh my God, that dress would look great. It's a beautiful dress if you had a rack. Well, I'll never have that.
Well, I actually think that's just a dig. Like, to me, the backhanded compliment would be, only you could wear that. And if you try and tell someone about the backhanded compliment, they're like, well, they said only you could wear that. I'm like, no. It was said only you could wear that. Okay. It's all about the semantics of the word.
And also how you say it. Oh, you look good. Well, today. Like, whoa, yeah, wait, what do you mean by that? You look good today.
Yesterday.
But then you also have the people that are like, oh, you're too sensitive. I was gaslit for years and I was an only child. So I didn't have a strong enough backbone, or I was used to getting everything my whole life because the sun always shines on Farley Boyle and she gets everything she wants because she was an only child. Wait a minute. Is that a negative thing? That my parents loved me and could give me a lot of attention? And is it a bad thing that I grew up in Mayberry, Florida? I didn't know that Florida was a bad place to grow up. So I started questioning, why am I always feeling attacked as an only child from Florida? Is that a compliment?
I hear that. Oh, well, she's an only child. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're doing that because she's an only child, talking about Dee Dee. I'm like, wait, that's kind of a dick comment. And I get really pissed off when I hear that.
One that's allowed to say it.
You can, but people say that.
I definitely was not spoiled. That's the other thing. All the stereotypes that factor into people's comments that are passive aggressive, where it actually triggers you. It hurts your feelings, or it makes you contemplate, was that nice or not, is part of gaslighting. And if you feel not good after somebody says something to you, and if you actually have the courage to say, why'd you say it like that? Or then, oh, you're too sensitive.
Well, it's like an insecurity it gives you. When they said, oh, Dee Dee, she's an only child, it makes me second guessing myself. Like, I don't get it. Is that supposed to be really mean? Is that a dick?
Siblings. I'm sorry. I couldn't manufacture a family.
Yeah.
I didn't come from a big family, and neither is Dee Dee, but there are such positives from having all of your parents' attention and for being able to hang out with adults. And I remember even with Pat, when he would come down to Florida and stay with me over a holiday, he would feel he was missing all the fun action from the big family skiing or whatever. And it was a bummer that he was with the only child who just has a mom and dad, and there's no surf in Florida and no snow in Florida. So it was very hard to find my confidence in the very beginning stages of my relationship because I couldn't compete with numbers, and you can't help it.
Right. But I also think that the challenge with gaslighting is that a lot of times it's coming from somebody who's got a pretty good, we talked about emotional intelligence. They've got a pretty good IQ.
They're smart.
They know how to push your buttons without getting caught pushing your buttons. They can say things in a way that when you repeat them to somebody, or you say, oh, this made me feel weird, this is what they said, the other person who loves you will say, oh, they didn't mean it that way. You're taking that out of context. No. Trust your gut. It didn't feel right. It landed wrong. The gaslighting people, they know exactly what they're doing when they're doing it.
It's a jealousy thing, and they can't like can't contain themselves for doing that giant dig. But I laugh because Dee Dee's not an only child. She has two stepbrothers and she has so many cousins. So she's part of the mix. She's just with us all the time. And you have
she has half brothers.
half brothers. That's what I'm saying is that she has half brothers. So she's not an only child.
But it's not a negative thing.
No, it's great. No, but sometimes when I hear that, it's kind of it makes me go, wait, that's kind of a negative. Why are you saying that? Does it make you feel better to say that? Because it taken back from it a little bit. It takes a lot to make me go back. Wait, what was that? Wait, what was that mean? Was that dig? And that's all. People just try to better themselves. And sometimes I think it's ignorance.
Well, yeah, and people are not really mindful of their words. They don't understand the inflection of things.
Mhm.
They don't understand the timing of things. And here's the other part is that you don't ever know where someone's sitting in their current state of mind on where I made a comment that landed at that moment hurtful to you. And maybe the person meant it. Maybe the person didn't. Maybe the person was gaslighting you. Maybe the person was just, oh, she's an only child. And you heard, oh, she's an only child. And this is where texting is super dangerous.
Oh, it's the worst. I'm the worst texter.
Giving commentary.
Yes.
Because you can't hear the tone. So you can insert whatever tone you heard from that text. And I'm going to give you a couple different types of gaslighting. There's glamour gaslighting, which is love bombing. So that could be a personal relationship. It could be even a friendship where somebody is telling you exactly what you want to hear in the beginning. And then there's a major shift. They sucked you in with all the kindness and the wonderful compliments, and you're so beautiful and you're so amazing. And all of a sudden you don't really know the person that you're with because that tone shifts. Or you have the good person gaslighter who's really a nice, normal person, and they appear to be a big supporter of everything that you stand for until they start chipping away little bits and pieces, trying to make you feel insecure. And the third is an intimidator, somebody that knows that you might not like confrontation and you might not be equipped to engage in something that makes you feel stressed. So they bring on your anxiety and they intimidate and manipulate. And now you can't communicate for yourself because they worked you into a frenzy that now you're in the frenzy and you're questioning your own sanity. And that's another form of gaslighting. It's a real thing. And people that are suffering from gaslighting need to talk to somebody that is an expert in this realm, because you can't get out of the trap. It can take years of your life before you realize, wow, I just was in a dysfunctional situation for years and I'm just coming out of it, because you finally understand that gaslighting is a real thing.
Absolutely. When I've had challenging situations in family or work relationships, it's important to understand where you sit with yourself. So there's an interesting survey that you can take on the emotional intelligence, and it's called Global Leadership Foundation. And they give you a 40-question test that you can take that will give you 4 different parameters of where you land. And those are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and your relationship management. And it'll just give you a barometer of where your strengths and weaknesses are in those 4 areas, so that you can be a little bit more empowered on how to handle somebody who's coming into your universe and gaslighting you or giving you a backhanded compliment or really undermining your power and authority. You can't control the person that's going to come in and gaslight. You can only control the way that we react to it.
I think sometimes you don't even know. You'll be your best friend, and then years, all of a sudden you're just not having a good day, you're irritated, and they say the same thing they said to you for years, and you take them back, you're like, wait, what is that? What is she saying? And then you have a realization, I don't really like the way that person's talking to me. That doesn't make sense. This is a realization of, oh, this is not very cool, and I'm not happy with this. That was a backhanded compliment. And then you start thinking and you're like, oh my God, my whole life, that person's a jerk.
It's hurtful because it can be a family member. It can be a sibling that could be jealous. It can be a parent that isn't happy in their marriage, and maybe you're getting more attention from the other parent. Maybe you give more attention to the dog and the husband wants the attention that the dog's getting. There's so many weird triggers. I've read so much about it. You really can identify it from a professional place. Taking credit for work, that's a gaslighter. Somebody that blames others and blame shifts because they don't want to be the responsible one. They want to point the finger. That's a part of gaslighting. Dismissing qualifications when you're really qualified And that's irrelevant because this person is going to take away your qualifications at that moment to make themselves feel bigger and better. Invalidating ideas, even a boss. You're tabling something that he didn't think of, or you're going to get the credit for something that maybe the boss is now worried about his own position. And so he's dismissive of a great idea or takes it and makes it his own because he's in an area of power above you. That's just in the professional landscape. When you go into personal relationships, we can all talk about that, from friendships to love interests. It really depends on how secure you are and if you can be whittled down.
And then the sad thing for anyone out there that has had any kind of domestic violence or any male, female, or love relationships that fall into this category, a lot of times they become physical. And that's the really scary part of watching people go through this and know that there could be more than just the gaslighting. There's been so many famous movies with Julia Roberts, and he keeps changing the cans to keep her in control.
Oh God.
Sleeping with the Enemy.
Sleeping with the Enemy.
Sleeping with the Enemy was a famous one. And she was unable to get people to see how horrible he was because they lived a perfect life on the outside. Everything looked dreamy. He was the perfect husband, and he kept her under a lock and key and made her feel crazy, where she faked her own death. That's the part about this, that if you're in a place where you're fearful of for somebody that is in your life, make sure that you reach out to them and talk to them about that, because domestic abuse is a serious problem and something that can go unnoticed and can begin with gaslighting.
If you're around somebody and you walk away from that person not feeling good about yourself, that's a red flag.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of red flags out there, and you really have to recognize that just because it's the way the person is, or it's the only way that you've known that person, it doesn't make it right. So you have to become true to yourself and recognize that does not make me feel good, and that is not who I am, and I'm becoming nervous Nelly now, or I'm becoming insecure, and I never was an insecure person, and now I'm questioning who I am as a result of the way this person is making me feel. And when you start second guessing, I know where I came from. I know how I was raised. And this is not the way I ever felt in my entire life until now. That's a problem. So we're trying to highlight some of the red flags, because gaslighting becomes a very trendy word and it's used a bit too liberally. But you know who you are if you're being gaslit, because it doesn't feel good. And you walk away feeling abused. And your heart hurts and you're thinking about it. It takes up a lot of your emotional time and your mental time, or you're talking about it with a friend. If you're spending a lot of time on this topic and trying to undo the damage every time you're with somebody that's putting you through this, that's a red flag.
Don't hold it in. Yeah, the best thing you can do is talk to a couple different people about it. Talk to some people that can give you a unique perspective. Talk to some people that are outside of that circle. Just give them the facts, and maybe they don't know the other person. Maybe they're not aware of the exact relationship. So if you have a work relationship, take it outside of work. If you have a family relationship, take it outside the family, and get a third party's point of view on what you feel happened and what you feel was said that was inappropriate, and take a temperature gauge. But if it's a recurrent pattern, if you constantly feel that this happens the same time with the same person and it's under the same set of circumstances, trust your gut and talk to your people.
It's a skill. Some people can do it right in front of you and no one else can see it. They know exactly when to attack you. And it's when no one else is looking. And you're the one that feels it and you see it and no one else sees it. And if you try to explain it, you can't, because they don't get caught on camera. They do it.
Now they might.
Yeah, they could, but they do it very covertly, and you're left with your head spinning because it just happened to you, but there was no witnesses. If that happens, speak up, because it's going to continue to happen until they no longer can get away with it because you brought it to somebody's attention, or you called them out, or you stood up and embarrassed the crap out of them right when it's happening in front of a whole group of people. That's what you have to do. And it might not be who you are, but you develop the grit to not be steamrolled anymore. And one day it just comes to a head and you explode and you find your inner voice, and change can happen.
Manipulation at its finest.
Absolutely. We hope that we've shed a little light on this If the person that's hurting you denies, I didn't do that, I didn't make you feel that way, that never happened, red flag. Minimizing feelings. If you're saying, hey, that really hurt my feelings, or I feel this way, and they're saying, oh, get over it, you're too sensitive, or I don't even know what you're talking about, red flag. Changing the narrative and constantly making it seem like you didn't hear what you thought you heard, or it wasn't intended to sound that way, red flag. Twisting the truth, controlling the information and making you confused. And now you're questioning your sanity because you know how it went down, but this person's recollection is not the way that you perceived it to be. And now you're questioning your sanity because it's this round and round abyss, red flag. And if you're isolated, if you feel like you can't talk to anybody because you feel like you're so crazy, or you've already lit up people's ears and burned bridges because you're not taking this into your own hands and being proactive, red flag.
And also give yourself a little bit of grace to understand that most of the people that are calculated and good at this practice, they've eroded this over years. It's not a one and done situation. So allow yourself some space and time to just,
and they haven't just done it to you.
Right. And by giving yourself the opportunity to just breathe about it and take some time and really reflect, you'll find your power again. Your community is super important. That's what we hope we're building here, is for you to have that ability to have a conversation with somebody that you think might be gaslit. If you think there's somebody that's being gaslit right now, share this episode with them. Maybe it'll resonate and help them through some difficult times. That's really what we're trying to accomplish with the conversations that we're having here today with each other and with you.
On that note, we are going to head into a positive direction and talk about somebody that deserves the Got Grit Award of the Week.
Michael Ricci, he's the founder of Operation Beachhead out of Seager, New Jersey. Michael graduated from St. Peter's College. He was brought in as second lieutenant in the U.S. Marines and was supposed to go train in California for 6 months. But after a week of training, he was deployed. He led an infantry platoon. He sustained so many injuries. Literally, he has Agent Orange and shrapnel still in his bodies from 1968. He'd covered and his journey began. He created a year-round adaptive sports clinic. Well, in 2011, Michael founded Operation Beachhead to share the healing powers of the ocean. And that's where we all got involved. My brother is helping him out. The first time I took someone surfing, he had no legs and a smile from ear to ear. The most heartfelt person that basically gave his life to Vietnam, gets injured, comes back, and he's changing people's lives with Operation Beachhead, taking all these wounded veterans surfing. When you see all these soldiers coming on their wheelchairs, some walking with one leg, some don't have an arm, and you get them in the water. And you also have children with disabilities. And the most magical part is when you're getting them on a wave and you look and you see the parents, spouse, or kids with tears in their eyes as you're pushing their husband, wife, son into a wave, and it gives them life back. And so if anybody out there and has someone with a disability or is a veteran, you can go to opbeachhead.org and see when these are taking place. It happens on Saturday in Spring Lake, and it's life-changing. And Michael Ricci, our Got Grit winner of the week, because he's amazing, has the biggest heart and soul, and he's given back.
Sometimes
Amazing.
you have to walk in somebody else's shoes and he understands it. And that's where the best ideas are born. Somebody that has been there and has watched people suffer and bring them joy, being able to do something that they physically can no longer do.
And be together in a community that's sharing one of the greatest gifts, which is the ocean.
You think my life is over, and then you discover Operation Beachhead, and you get there and there's people just like you. Hats go off to you, my friend. You're a Got Grit winner of the week.
He deserves it. The song of the week is going to take us back to feeling like you're a victim, feeling like you've just been pummeled multiple times. I'm going to read the lyrics and then I'm going to actually define the main word that is in this song because it's worth it. So I'm going to stand here by your fire because it's a cold one tonight. I'm taking care of Soulfight, babe, and you're the reason why. Well, I don't ask questions and I don't tell no lies. It's the reason why I'm taking care of Soulfight. And you're the reason why. Well, you're the reason why. You're the only reason why. Oh, you're the reason why. So Mother Mary, won't you come sing a song for me and make it last all damn night? So this is Soulfight by the Revivalists.
Oh, wow.
It haunts my house. And it's not even because of my prior experiences. Some of the best music comes when people are being persecuted or they're in pain. It's not all happy, joy, and up. This is a song about somebody that is having inner struggles. Soulfight can describe a deep internal struggle or conflict within oneself or between individuals, often involving strong emotions like anger, resentment, or pain. So if your soul is in a fight because you know something's not right, this song could shed a little light on the fact that you're not alone. And a lot of people have been in your shoes, and this is a song that helps people process pain.
Yeah,
So
I love the Revivalists. They're a great band. And I love the fact that we're reading lyrics, and I've never heard that lyric before. And I probably have heard the song because I listened to the Revivalists. So I love the fact that we've got a way to step back and listen to something in a new way by just hearing the words. So thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Girls Gone Gritty. Remember, if this episode resonates with you, please share it with people that you love. Share it with somebody you think is going through a gaslight situation or needs to know a little bit more about their EQ. All those topics are relevant. So share right now with 5 friends. And thank you for continuing to support us. We appreciate you each and every day. Make it a great one.
thank you.
Peace.